What's up, y'all? I am dummy late. Don't even tell me. It's gonna be my last time late. Hold me accountable to this statement. Um, hold me accountable. Welcome back to another Mental Man Monday live stream with your boy Izzy Oven, the star of the show, the one and only. Um, so yeah, got a few things to talk about today. Now you see the title. Next week I'm gonna be back on time. Next week I'm also have a guest again. Like I said, I'm just happy. I've been consistent. It's like the seventh Monday in a row, I believe, something like that. I've been pretty consistent. Now, usually we recap a new episode, but since we don't have a new episode, we can't recap that. So for I have a treat. So for this episode of the Mental Man Monday live stream, we're going back to the old days, and we're going to cover 3 topics. So the first one is not even a video. Now, everything today is courtesy of the Shade Room. So I don't. Yeah, I got off the Shade Room. I ain't even finna go there. I just got off the Shade Room just because it was the easiest thing to do. I usually get everything off YouTube, but today I off the Shade Room because it's easy to get these clips. So shout out to the Shade Room, and when you share the screen, when we share the screen, you'll be able to see that. So just because I'm gonna save y'all time, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. The first one we're gonna talk about is Tyler Perry, as he has called out um, prayers and thoughts, really prayers, not just thoughts, go out to the people in California because of the fires. I seen a map that show where the world is right now. It's like half the world is extremely cold, and the other half of the world is extremely, hot. Half of the country, excuse me, is dealing with the fires. So let me share my screen. Let's get into this first comment about Tyler Perry. All right, so Tyler Perry calls out insurance companies following the many homes lost due to the wildfires in California. He says watching a daughter use a garden hose to try and protect her 90-year-old parents' home because their insurance was canceled was just gut wrenching to me. Does anyone else find it appalling that insurance companies can take billions of dollars out of communities for years and then all of a sudden be allowed to cancel millions of policies for the very people that they became rich on? People who have paid premiums all of their lives are left with nothing because of pure greed. As I am in the process of trying to figure out what steps to do to take, all I can to help as many as I can. I'm keeping everyone in my prayers. All right, so that's Tyler Perry. Let's break it down. Let's get into the first segment, which is what does this have to do with mental health? Now, he's a black man, obviously, and he's using his platform to speak on this incident, which it is very tragic. It's unfortunate. It's interesting to see how this happened to happen around this time. Some of the prophets have prophesied this. There are some people who prophesied this and came out said, "I told y'all." Then it's the other side who I told y'all this was coming, but I still want to pray for the people, intercede for the place. And some people, Marlon Wayans came out and spoke on it, talking about he looks at this as a rebirth to an extent, because it's like the fire basically burned everything away, then we can rebuild from new, trying to be optimistic. I don't know what it's like to live in a wildfire. I've never lived in California. So, but I bet it's a lot. And mentally, how do you deal? They even said people like Miley Cyrus, this is her second house that she's lost due to a fire in 7 years. And it's like with him to be so appalled, as he stated, and to feel as though like this is hard to watch, and trying to figure out what he can do. What I appreciate about Tyler Perry in this instance, he catch a lot of hell, but in this instance, what I appreciate is that you're stepping up to see what you can do. Because I remember one of the first Mental Man Mondays we did was talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Oprah. And when it was that stuff going on with the volcano and they was asking us to donate and they went viral on TikTok, this girl went viral on TikTok, which apparently they about to ban. I don't know how true that is. But they went viral on TikTok, and the girl was like, "Why is Oprah and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, million and billionaires, asking us to donate money as rich as y'all are?" So what I can say about this situation, whether it was a setup, whatever, there's been the conspiracy that the forest fire was started. The fire was started by man. I don't put nothing past these people. But what I will say is what I was good to see about Tyler Perry was he asked, "What can I do?" And he's gonna send some money. You know what I'm saying? Some of these celebrities already started sending money. We, as the people that's already struggling, shouldn't be sending money. Y'all can go out, buy Rolls Royces and all these things, and it's good to see. And like I said, some of them might just be doing it just because they look good. But anyway, either way, the money's still gonna help the people. I just pray that they don't steal that money. That's my thing. Like when they send the money and then maybe they send it to one of them organizations that they don't like take it and do no weird stuff with it, because them people really need it. And it's good to see these people, these rich people, not ask us for money. That what was irritating for me in that last one. And ever since them people called out The Rock and Oprah, we ain't really heard that too much. But mentally, I think it's best for all of us, for those people who's struggling, definitely to pray, but put some action behind them prayers and send some money if you got it. But let the rich people do it first. They the ones that ain't gonna flinch over no money that they got. All right. What would I do in this situation? If I had loads of money, I would definitely send something. At this point, it's not much I can really do all the way in Texas. So all I can do is, intercede in prayer. That's really all I can do. And maybe I can, if hypothetically, of course, I had a friend or a cousin, because I do actually have cousins that live in LA and in that area, who needed a place to stay. And it was like, I'm coming to Texas. Don't know why they would come all the way out here. But if they did, you can stay at my house for a little while because of this situation. But don't get any ideas. If you wasn't in no tragedy, don't come try to stay at my house. That's only for people that's been through something. They had that right to come do that. But other people who you kicked out because you forgot to pay your bills or you was lazy with your bills, no, you don't have no excuse. My house is only open to those at this point in my life. My house is only open to those that's been in tragedy and not self-imposed tragedies, because a lot of y'all bring tragedies on y'allself. But the fires in Cali, that's a legit thing. So that's all I can do at this time is offer my house. WWJD, what would Jesus do? So it's pretty obvious that more than likely pay some money if he could donate. Always the number one would be to pray, but also if you could donate, if you could give them food, clothes, whatever you could give them, this is the time to give, because it says giving you shall be giving you should be what is it? It's slipping my mind. I just quoted it earlier, but the Bible, there are many examples of giving and the benefits of giving. You know what I'm saying? So giving should be given unto you. So there will be a time in life. It might not be a tragedy that extreme, but there will be a time in life where you will need something. So keep that in mind. Now, of course, if you can't help, that's different. But if you can and you choose not to, remember, there's going to be a time where you will need some help too. So when you out here being stingy and stank, keep that in mind. And then WSMD, what should men do? And in this situation, I believe that men should always step up when they can, financially step up when they can with any resources, step up when they can to, I don't think a regular person should be out there putting out the fires, but if there's anything that they can do, in their own strength, they can do that. But in the case like Tyler Perry, using his platform with millions of probably impressions daily, because people are looking at his page trying to see what the next movie that they're going to talk about. But people he getting impressions of millions of impressions daily for him to use his platform to promote like what these insurance companies are doing was great, because we've all known that these insurance companies is fraud. For them insurance companies to just pull out like that, for them, it doesn't surprise me. So that's why I'm not like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Them insurance companies been fraud. There's even been debates that do we even really need insurance? And then that's something we need to ask. Do we really need insurance? I say yes, but then it's like Tyler Perry said, we paid all these premiums all these years and they could just cancel. So it's like them premiums don't mean nothing. And I don't believe in coincidences. They magically canceled when this fire just magically came about right after. These events that be happening, it's too many coincidences. And if you actually look into it, there's no such thing as a coincidence. So keep that in mind. All right, y'all, let's get into the next topic today. So recently, y'all favorite person, Stephen A. Smith, like I said, I think Stephen A. Smith is an interesting character. He talks about why he voted for Kamala Harris after I guess he really talked about it like a dog for so many months or whatever. And then he voted for after he said he was more so siding with Trump. So again, back to the shade room. We got another video we about to watch, and then we're going to discuss it. So let's get into it.
Conservative, you care about the border and foreign policy and one or two other things. Those are, and socially liberal.
Right.
Those are all Trump things. So like, what was there just something else that was just a roadblock?
Let's call it what it is. There's a lot of people that won't admit this. I'm going to admit it. I was a bit misinformed. Let's call it what it is. And that pressure emanating from my community, I'm tired of it. I think that's one of the reasons you see me sounding. Patrick Bet-David alluded to that as well, talking about me. And they're right. They're right. Kamala Harris was somewhat similar from the standpoint, she was a black woman. I thought that the Democrats would have probably lose the House or the Senate, if not both. And my desire to have order, to have to dissipate chaos, the chaos that I assumed would be forthcoming in a Trump administration, along with the fact that here was this woman, this black woman, that finally had an opportunity to be in that position. I thought that she was somebody that could be swayed. So if you had the Republicans in the House and the Senate, no matter how extreme left she may have appeared to be, especially with being caught talking about people in prison, being able to have sex change operations and all this stuff, I thought she was somebody that could be swayed, that she wasn't somebody that was going to have the power that we anticipate Trump will have. Trump just sat up there and turned 2 Republicans around the vote for Mike Johnson. Okay, we see that.
As of this morning, we're renaming the Gulf of Mexico.
How about that? America. How about that? I mean, this is Trump. And I certainly didn't see her having that kind of power. So it was safe. It was safe. I'm going to tell you when my mind almost changed. I had already voted down here when Barack Obama spoke to those black men in Pittsburgh and alluded to misogyny being the reason that they weren't voting for Kamala Harris. I was highly offended by that.
The way you described yourself before, fiscal conservative, you care about the border and...
All right, let's get into everything. Okay, so what does this have to do with mental health? I don't want this to be another Donald Trump conversation because we didn't have enough of them and we got 4 years to deal with him, and so we're going to see some more. Before I get into it, for those people's mental health, for anybody's mental health, remember the study of how we act, think, and feel, and you feel as though, this is the end of the world. I'm here to tell you, and you're going to say, who are you? You ain't nobody. That's cool. But when you see this manifest, you heard it here first. Donald Trump being in office is not the end of the world. I'm going to say it again. Donald Trump being in the office is not the end of the world. Anybody that gets offended by that, I don't know what to say, because at this point you just want to be offended. I posted on my story the other day that this is a matrix. We saw a video, and it wasn't AI, of Donald Trump and Barack Obama laughing and grinning. But the way Barack Obama talked, they hate each other, or he hate him. Or he don't like him. We ain't gonna say hate. We're gonna say he don't like him. So they laughing and grinning. This stuff is a game, y'all. This is not. Now, I'm not saying don't vote. And I'm not saying, especially in your local and in your state. Not saying don't vote. I'm just saying this the main stage with them elections, that's a game. And they play with y'all every time, and they win every time. Have y'all looking crazy, cutting off family members and stuff. But getting back to the topic at hand with Stephen A. We're just going to extract why he decided to vote for Kamala after all, after he was so for Trump. What I will say is it's good to see a black man, and we just extracting the topic here. We're not going to really get into what he did, but to feel as though he was wrong and to come out and publicly say, I missed it. I got it wrong. I guess I have my views. I'll keep those to myself because this is not a political podcast. But for him to come out, I'm judging his mental health as far as the active study of how we act, think, and feel. So he made a decision. He thought one thing and came out and said, you know what, I changed my mind, and this is why I did what I did. And for so many people to see he voted how like they voted after y'all crucified him, then he changed his mind and y'all still on some stuff like he's stupid. You can't win with the trolls. Keep that word in mind, trolls. WWID, what would I do in this situation? As a person of a personality, a podcaster, and all the things of that nature. If I did something and I was publicly wrong, I'm not saying he was publicly wrong. I'm just saying in the situation where I was or felt I was wrong, I have no problem apologizing. I have no problem coming forward and being like, you know what, y'all, I missed it, my bad. I have no problem doing that. I have zero problem doing that, contrary to popular belief. It's just that a lot of the times when I'm loud about something, and this sounds arrogant, but most times when I'm loud and passionate about something, I be right. I do. But I have been wrong before, and I say, you know what, that's my bad. I should have, but yeah, what would Jesus do? Jesus wouldn't be wrong. Jesus was the only perfect man. However, the most ethically and morally correct thing to do in this situation, I believe, would to publicly right your wrongs. If you was loud about something and it turned out to be wrong, you have to be loud with the apology too, or be loud with the correction. That's how I feel. A lot of times we see people loud with their errors, but then they quiet when it's time to rectify the situation. They're very soft spoken about it. And Stephen A is just a loud person. He loud with everything he do. And the same thing, what should men do in this situation? I'm gonna let you know today, there will be a time where you will be wrong publicly. There will be a time when you will be wrong publicly. Well, I ain't gonna say that because you might not be, but we're just gonna say there'll be a time when you will be wrong. We won't say wrong publicly. And all I'm gonna say is you just have to have that same energy. And also, if someone is and say it's not you and it's somebody else, have a little grace, because you'd have been wrong before. And that same grace you ain't giving, you gonna need. Remember that same grace you ain't giving, I've said it before, you gonna need. All right, y'all, let's get to the final conversation for today. This final one is about a few weeks ago, we talked about Travis Hunter and that situation with his girlfriend. So this week, it was another clip from the Shade Room that goes off on Deion Sanders as he discussed that he shared advice that he gave to Travis Hunter after he deactivated his social media account. So I'm about to share my screen, and we are about to watch this right now, see what old school got to say to new school, because that's basically what this was. All right.
We watched Travis win the Heisman. He then soon after deactivated his social media,
right,
because of, I call it bullying.
Right.
I said it was bullying because of his personal life, and he's a kid. And I thought about you, and I was thinking, you're a father figure in many ways. He's got his dad, but you're a father figure.
Right.
What advice did you give him? Because you've seen it.
Yeah.
You've been in the pressure cooker.
Don't stop.
Don't stop.
See,
did it hurt you when he had to deactivate his account?
It hurt me that he did.
Really?
Because what the enemy wants you to do is stop. I don't hunt and I don't kill. I don't do that, but I'm a country boy that lives on a ranch. And I understand with the wild hogs that come and ravage my property and the deer that runs, and I don't let nobody touch them. But when people want to harm them, they harm them because they get a clean shot and they steal.
Like the world, we watched Travis win the Heisman.
When you moving, it's hard to get a good shot at you if you keep on moving. And when somebody stays still, now you got a chance to attack. And I hate the stillness of that. Keep on moving. Don't let the enemy get you where you steal and you having a pity party on yourself. I'm like, no, dog, let's go. Let's
Is that what you told him?
Yeah. You have endorsements. You have people that are sponsoring you to talk about their product.
Yeah.
We can't deactivate. We got to activate right now. Right. When you moving, it's hard to.
All right. Let's get into the final discussion for this. Okay. So let's get into the first segment, which is, what does this have to do with mental health? So I'm going to give both sides of Deion Sanders and Travis Hunter. So Travis Hunter first. So as we saw weeks ago with Travis Hunter, deactivating his page, responding to the comments by his girlfriend and just dealing with the public scrutiny. We have to give Travis Hunter grace. He's 21. You know what I'm saying? He's young. And this is his first time really being in the spotlight. So that can be a lot when people making YouTube videos about you, TikToks about you, Instagram posts about you, and just going in and just letting you have it about what happened. We all make mistakes. We all, it's a lot. And so for him to deactivate his page as a 21-year-old who's never really probably dealt with scrutiny like that, me personally, I don't blame him. Because if you've never dealt with scrutiny like that, and especially on a world stage like that, that's a lot. However, Deion Sanders, although Deion Sanders didn't agree with him, the fact that old school, looked out and said, hey, like, you got to keep it moving. You got to keep it going, because he's not saying that from a place of like you being soft or you being weak. He's giving him tough love and basically like, look, like, I get it. Granted, when Deion was young, the paparazzi and stuff was talking about him, not paparazzi, but the tabloids and the blogs and stuff. Back then, they didn't have this social media stuff like we got it. So it wasn't as bad. But he's just saying you got to keep moving. Things gonna happen. And this is just a first lesson in tough love. Like, hey, bro, look, this is what you signed up for. And no, it ain't easy. And not saying you shouldn't feel away. But he basically also kind of giving him the stance of like, you can't let them see you down, like, because I guess he kind of making it say it showed him like, well, you show the people that they got to you. But in the same breath, and let me know what y'all think in the comments. But in the same breath, the people got to you, but at the same time, he is human. And like I said earlier, he ain't never dealt with nothing like that. So that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? I didn't dealt with public attacks, obviously not on a world stage like that, but I didn't dealt with attacks. So it can be a lot for somebody first time, especially if you're unproblematic, they're pretty drama free. You can be the most chill person, like just a chill guy, and it still be a lot. So what would I do in this situation? Again, if I was Travis, me personally, I wouldn't deactivate my page. But in the same breath, I probably would take a break from social media. I just wouldn't deactivate nothing. That's where the money at. However, if I was Deion, I would do the same thing Deion did. Like, I would reach out and let him know. So when I was in high school, I'm from St. Louis. And so it's this page back in the day, like, it was like, how they used to have like the exposed pages in high school. And so I ain't gonna say the girl name, but in high school, it was this page. It was St. Louis called Set Them Out. And so it was like setting out people in the city. And it was this girl, I'm not gonna say her name. We're gonna call her Rachel. So Rachel was, she was young. She probably was doing, she was doing a little thotting. And basically somebody blasted her anonymously saying she was getting trains ran on her and she's a thot, or they didn't say thot back then. They just say she a rat, like she a hoe. And I remember when that happened, I didn't know the girl and she never responded. But I did inbox her. You know that I'm telling on myself the times. I inboxed her and just let her know, like, keep your head up. I'm praying for you. I hate this happened to you. And although she never responded, she read it. Oh, she saw, I'm sure she saw. And, it ain't much, but it's something. It's the little things you can do when you see somebody going through something and also publicly going through something. Even these celebrities that seem untouchable, they be seeing y'all messages, good, bad, and indifferent. So even though it may not seem like much, maybe you can send them a message, anybody a message just to let them know, like, hey, keep your head up, because that one message could keep somebody from doing something stupid. WWJD, what would Jesus do? So let's say it earlier, say it again, intercede for that person in prayer. Y'all don't understand the power of that. That does a lot more than we realize, you will realize. But also, I think in this situation, the most ethically, morally correct thing to do would be to take a step back, take a break, kind of decompress. Like I said, maybe not necessarily deactivate your social media, like I said, and then maybe depending on the situation, because it just depends. I think it really is a case by case scenario, and this moment I believe is a case by case scenario. But in this situation, I personally believe that Jesus. That's a good question. Would Jesus deactivate his social media page if he was getting publicly attacked? I don't think so. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think so. But that's definitely a good question to ask. What would Jesus do in the case he was getting publicly attacked on social media? But flip it, if Jesus was in Deion Sanders, ethically and morally correct thing to do, I think Deion did the best thing to do. I did. Final segment, WSMD. What should men do in this situation? I think as a man, you are allowed to feel, Travis Hunter is still a human and men have emotions too. And I don't think he went out sad. I just think he's young. And I think in this situation, men should always keep their head on a swivel because, like I said, I would hate for him to harm himself. But I really, really believe that in a situation like this, Deion I believe a man should always check on a person they see struggling, because a lot of times we just hearing it sometimes from another man's perspective will really help, because it'll give them a perspective like, dang, I ain't tripping. Because I'm sure Deion told him like, you ain't wrong. You cool to feel the way you felt, and especially in a situation like that, because again, that can be a lot. So I think in this situation, if you see somebody going through it, ain't nothing wrong with sending them a text, even if you don't know them. Email or DM, like comment on their story, like keep your head up, because sometimes they need to see that, especially when they getting just blasted by the world. So that's all I got to say on that. This is a great segue. So in honor of the fact that I have over 200 something episodes, and there won't be another new episode of PSA the Mental Health Podcast till season 9 comes back. Let me give y'all the date. So it's looking like we're coming back for the first episode of season 9, April 10th. So in between now and then, we're going to be recapping old episodes. And we're starting off with the first episode. Now, we're going to be all over the place. It's kind of going with the theme. I think we're going to kind of keep with the themes of just where the world kind of is right now and just where we at. But either way, we might get a little more like niche. But right now, we're recapping the first, this track 2 of my first album, Bold, from season 5 of PSA the Mental Health Podcast. But back then it was just PSA Podcast. So this is before the soft rebrand. And it is an episode titled How to Survive Going Viral. And it features Darian Holt, aka I knew him as D Holt, but he's Darian Holt. He was recently on season 7 of The Circle. And he was always going viral and stuff back in. So he was on the first part of that episode. So I'm going to actually put the link to that episode in the bio of this YouTube video. And then the audio version from my podcast platform is going to be on the YouTube channel on Thursday with the link to the visual, because the visual is already on my YouTube channel, but the link to the visual to make it easier to find on that audio video on YouTube on Thursday. And I'll be replaying clips, which I've already started on my YouTube channel now and on my TikTok for the week. The audio is pretty bad, but it's from 2021. So give me some grace on that. Give me some grace. Don't troll me for that. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me on this late night special. My late night Mental Man Monday live stream. I don't like I'm being this late, but we here. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for popping in, because I didn't see y'all come in and out. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And remember, I love us for real.